Any doubts, students? If you have
No,
any
ma'am.
doubts related to the topics that I have already completed, then you can please ask me. If you have any doubts
No, ma'am.
related
Ma'am, can
to
you
the
explain
topics.
interpersonal awareness once again?
Okay, so interpersonal awareness is when you are able to understand the emotions and feelings of others. Okay, when you are actually able to understand the other people's emotions and feelings, that's what interpersonal awareness is. In order to be able to understand the emotions or feelings of others, you have to first of all recognize your own emotions. You must be able to understand yourself at first, and then only you will be able to recognize the emotions and also the perspectives of other people. Okay, so basically interpersonal awareness is to understand or recognize the emotions and the perspectives of other people. In order to understand the emotions or in order to recognize the perspectives of other people, you have to first of all understand your own emotions, your own feelings. Okay, so then only you will be able to recognize the emotions of other people. Okay, now interpersonal awareness generally helps us to communicate with others effectively. If we are able to recognize the feelings of others, if we are able to make a connection with others, then it helps us to communicate effectively, and it also helps us to build good relationship. And that's what interpersonal awareness is. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, when you are able to understand others, when you are aware of the feelings and emotions of others, that's what interpersonal awareness is. But if you want to develop that particular skill, if you want to be aware of the feelings and emotions of others, if you want to recognize the perspectives of other people, at first you have to understand yourself. Then only you will be able to develop this skill, and this skill helps us to communicate effectively with others, and this skill helps us to build good relationship with other people. That's what interpersonal awareness is all about. Any other doubts, students? Paul Sonoal, can you tell me what is assertiveness? Paul Sonoal. Yes, Paul Sonoal. Please respond. Unmute yourself and respond. Papli Das.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, can you tell me what is assertiveness?
Yes, ma'am. Being
Yes.
confident in what we speak up
Hmm.
for ourselves,
Hmm.
and it is a healthy way of communicating with others.
Yes, very good, Papli. You are right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Kusum.
Yes, ma'am.
Kusum, can you tell me what is interpersonal awareness?
Ma'am, knowing others,
Huh. Knowing
and then
others, like,
before knowing others, we have to know about ourselves, and after knowing ourselves, it will help us to know other people's, and
other
it helps
people's.
us to have a good relationship with others emotionally also.
Okay, so it basically helps us to recognize the emotions. Interpersonal awareness is the ability to recognize the emotions and feelings of other people. Okay, when you're aware of the emotions and feelings of other people, That's what interpersonal awareness is. Okay, then. So I hope all of you have understood these two topics and also what self esteem is. These topics are related to one another, okay? And at times you will feel like every topic has the same meaning. Yes, these topics are kind of similar ones, but yet there are certain differences. So you have to be very clear. You have to understand the basic concept of each and every topic in order to understand the difference between these topics. Okay. The next topic that I am going to explain you all is empathy. First of all, I would like to share my screen. Give me a minute. Can you all see my screen? Can you all see the PDF file?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, the topic is empathy. Any idea what is the meaning of empathy? Any idea?
Ma'am, the ability to understand others' feelings.
Hmm. So, when you are able to understand the feelings and emotions of other person, that's what empathy is. Now, what's the difference between empathy and interpersonal awareness? Interpersonal awareness is also to be aware of the feelings and emotions of others, to recognize or to understand the feelings and emotions of others. And empathy is also kind of the capacity to understand be be aware of the feelings and emotions of others. Now, what is the difference between these two terms? Interpersonal awareness is kind of being aware of the feelings and emotions of others and also to understand the feelings and emotions of others. But there's a difference. There's a very small difference in between empathy and interpersonal awareness. Empathy is when you are able to put yourself in someone else's position, in someone else's shoes. When you are able to put yourself in someone else's position and feel the way the other person is feeling, that's what empathy is. When you are able to exactly feel what the other person is feeling, or when you're able to understand exactly what the other person is going through, that's what empathy is. Okay? So, a lot of us cannot put ourselves a lot of us cannot put ourselves in someone else's shoes. A lot of us are not able to make connections. A lot of us are not able to put ourselves in that situation and understand the situation deeply or understand the other person deeply. Yes, we understand one another when we know one another, when we communicate with one another, when we share a good relationship with one another, then of course we understand one another, and we are quite aware of the feelings of the other person. But empathy is when you also experience the same emotion. Empathy is when you also experience or go through the same situation. Okay, that's what empathy is. You practically do not have to go through the same situation, but when you experience the same, when you are able to understand it exactly like the other person is feeling or the other person is going through, that's what empathy is. Okay, so when you are empathetic, when you are able to put yourself in someone else's position, then you are able to help that other person in a better manner. Okay, you are able to help that person because you are able to understand the exact situation. Okay, whereas interpersonal awareness, if you are aware of the feelings and emotions of other person, you might not put yourself in that particular position. You are aware of the emotion, you are aware of the feelings or emotions of that particular person, or you are able to recognize the emotions, you are able to just understand it, but you are not able to put yourself in that place, in that position. Okay, but empathy is when you are able to understand it exactly what the other person is going through. Most of the time you are unable to do it. Okay, if I am going through a particular situation, if I am facing a particular situation, if I tell you that so and so is the situation, you will be able to understand my state, or you will be just able to understand the situation, but would not be able to feel the way I am feeling. But when you are empathetic, you are also able to feel the emotions, you are able to feel and understand it very nicely, understand the situation very nicely. And that is why empathetic nature can lead to a more helping behavior. You, if you are an empathetic person, if you are able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, then you will also be able to help that person in a in a different manner, in a very, different manner. Okay, and it would be very helpful for the other person, because you are being able to feel what the other person is going through, what the other person is feeling, so you feel the same. So that is why you are being able to understand the situation more deeply, more clearly, and that is why you will be able to understand or help the other person in a better way. That's what empathy is. Is it clear now? What is empathy? Now, it's quite similar. Okay, empathy and interpersonal awareness is quite similar and are also related to one another. Interpersonal awareness is also related to empathy, and the basis of interpersonal awareness is empathy. When you are able, when you have the ability to understand others, when you are able to understand others, then only you will be able to recognize the emotions of others, then only you will be able to be aware of the feelings and emotions of others. So these two terms are related to one another, but there's a slight difference between these two terms, interpersonal awareness and empathy. Interpersonal awareness is to be aware of the emotions and feelings of others. Empathy is to feel what the other person is feeling. Okay, that's the basic difference, and it's a very small difference. So is it clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, all of us, we should try to have, we should try to be empathetic towards others. We should try to understand others and understand their situations. But most of the time, we are unable to do so. We can recognize or we can understand it, but we cannot feel the same. But sometimes it's very necessary in certain circumstances, in certain situations, it's very necessary to also understand it or the situation very deeply. So, in order to understand the situation deeply and provide help, you need to feel the same and you need to put yourself in that particular situation to understand the whole situation. Okay, moving ahead, the next topic is drive strength. Drive strength is the source of motivation. Drive strength refers to the source of motivation, the source that motivates us to do something in life, the source that motivates us to move ahead in life. That's what drive strength is. Now, again, motivation and drive strength is related to one another. You can be motivated only if there is some source. If there is no source, okay? If there is no source of motivation, you won't be motivated. You won't be happy. Okay? And motivation is something that is very necessary in our life. If I don't feel motivated to wake up in the morning, if I don't feel motivated to work, if you don't feel motivated to study, if you don't feel motivated to set your goals, then what will you do? What is the purpose? What is your purpose? What is your goal? What is your destination? What is your path? Okay, so motivation is something that is very necessary. If you are not motivated enough, if we do not feel motivated, we do not like to work, we do not like to do anything. Okay, so in order to feel motivated, you need some reasons, isn't it? You need some reasons in order to feel motivated, and every individual has different source of motivation. My source of motivation can be different and your source of motivation can be different. Just a minute, students. I'm so sorry, students. So I was talking about drive strengths. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I was talking about drive strength. So all of us need that source of motivation in order to keep going. Okay. So that constant source of motivation is drive strength. Okay. That particular thing which motivates us to wake up every day, to do something in life, that's what drive strength is. And drive strength helps us to accomplish our goals. Drive strength helps us to take important decisions of our lives. Drive strength helps us to learn new skills, to develop ourselves, to grow in life. Okay, so drive strength is again a very important part of our life. So drive strength and motivation can be treated in the same manner. Okay, if you do not have a source of motivation, if you do not have that push, if you do not get that power which helps you to wake up in the morning to do something for yourself, then you will be lost. You will have no, goals, you will have no dreams and desires in life. And without any desire, without any dreams, without any goals, life is not at all worthy, isn't it? So, drive strength is that part of our life which helps us to accomplish our goals. It will definitely help us to figure out the path, and it will help us to reach the destination. Okay, is it clear what is drive strength? Are you being able to understand? It is the source
Yes,
of
ma'am.
motivation. Okay, it is that source of motivation, and all of us might have different sources of motivation. Your parents can be that source of motivation, your friends can be that particular source of motivation, or there can be other reasons, other sources as well. Okay, so each one of us has each one of us we have some or the other source to move ahead, some or the other source of motivation to move ahead. So, here, as you can see, we have all worked hard in our lives to accomplish a certain goal. In order to accomplish important goals in our lives, we need to have the skill of drive strength. Drive strength is the skill of discovering and then harnessing. So it's the skill of discovering and then harnessing your motivation and energy to reach personal and career goals. Okay, so when you discover your source of motivation, when you discover that strength, okay, that power, and then when you understand it, and when that source, that strength becomes your source of motivation, and when it helps you to reach your goals, your personal goals, your career oriented goals, that's what drive strength is. Okay, I hope it's clear. Is it clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any doubts,
Yes, I have.
students? If you have any kind of questions related to drive strength, you can ask me. How will you explain drive strength in your own words?
Motivation to work hard.
Hmm. Anyone else who would like to share his or her opinion regarding this particular topic?
Ma'am, motivating
Hmm.
ourselves and understand ourselves, which will help us to accomplish our desired goals in life.
Hmm. Hmm. So you need that constant source of motivation to reach your goals, to accomplish your goals, and that's what drive strength is. Okay, and it's a very important part of our life in order to be happy in life. So if I as a person want to grow, okay, in life, so if I want to be a happy person, if I want to be a successful person, if I want to accomplish my personal goals, my career oriented goals, I must have some source of energy to motivate me every day. Okay, so that's what drive strength is. Okay, when you are able to understand the source of motivation, when you are able to understand the strength which the power which motivates you, that's what drive strength is. And if you have not yet understood what's your that very source of motivation is, or that mm, strength is, then you should try to figure it out. And how will you be able to figure it out? You will be able to understand your source of motivation, the power. You will only be able to understand it when you observe yourself, when you are aware of yourself. Okay, when you know yourself, then only you will be able to understand your source of motivation. A lot of people are demotivated. A lot of people are not able to cope up with the problems, the competition, and they are constantly demotivated. They are constantly frustrated. They are depressed in life, and depression, frustration, demotivation, these things, these problems lead to some kind of serious mental issues, okay, mental disorders as well. And these kind of problems lead to depression as well, severe depression as well. And as we all know, that people today are constantly fighting, uh, are constantly fighting against certain odds. So depression has become a part of our life, but we should not let it develop, we should not let it grow. And how will we be able to stay away, or how will we be able to get rid of depression or frustration? If we keep on motivating, if we keep on motivating ourselves. Motivation is something that is very necessary in all our lives. And it's not necessary that you need to be motivated by some external force every now and then. Yes, sometimes if your friends, if your parents, if your relatives, and if your acquaintances come and motivate you, that works. But sometimes there might be nobody to motivate you, so you have to motivate yourself. You have to be able to motivate yourself. So self motivation is also very necessary. So in order to motivate yourself, in order to be self motivated, you have to understand that power, you have to understand that strength, you have to understand that source. Then only you will be able to keep yourself motivated. Okay, and when you're able to discover your source of motivation, and when you're able to keep yourself motivated, that's what drive strength is. In order to accomplish your goals, in order to accomplish your personal and career oriented goals, in order to fulfill your dreams, when you're able to keep yourself motivated, when you're able to keep going, that's what drive strength is. Okay, so that's all for today, students. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I have already shared the notes. Go through the PDF that I have provided you. Read the concept, read it, and then only you will be able to understand the meaning of it. Okay, read it. Once you read it, you'll be able to understand whether you have actually understood the topic or not, whether you have actually the understood it properly or not. Okay, so I want you all to read the notes that I provide you. Okay, so these are very minute topics, but very important ones, which will help you in your life. Okay, so that's all from my end, students. I hope all of you have understood. If there is anyone who could not respond to the roll calls, or due to network issue or something like that, then you can write down your roll numbers in the chat box. Have you all understood, students? Is it clear? I want to hear from all of you. Is it clear,
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am, it's
students?
clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Go through the notes, read it, and let me know if you have any doubt in the next class. Okay? That's all for today, students. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care. See you in the next class.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.